Just days before the United States of America celebrates its Independence Day, certain powerful people are seeking to break the country apart. The USA is a glowing example of democracy. Despite its many faults, it is a beacon of federalism. On July 4th, Americans will be celebrating their country, the United States of America. USA will be turning 245 years old. It is the oldest surviving democracy in the world. Back in 1776, when the Declaration of Independence was signed, the founding fathers were convinced that the country they were building would grow from strength to strength. And grow it did, until the wokes came around. Now, the United States of America is being attacked by a woke pandemic. Its foundations are being shaken and it is being eaten from within. The United States of America is about to become the divided States of America, and just days before the country's independence is celebrated this year, the Democratic Governor of California has sounded the war bugle against fellow American states. USA is now in the endgame. Hi and welcome. This is TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Sanbir Ranhotra, and in this video I will tell you how Democrats like the Governor of California are beginning to take steps to irreparably attack America. Let's begin. California Governor Gavin Newsom is working on a new agenda: divide the United States of America in the garb of protecting LGBTQ rights. The US state of California has banned state-sponsored travel to 17 US states in consequence of the recently enacted LGBTQ legislation. The ban on state-sponsored travel is highly divisive, and in the garb of protesting against discriminatory LGBTQ laws, it seeks to drive a deep wedge between red states and blue states. California State's Attorney General Rob Bonta said that state-funded travel to Arkansas, Florida, Montana, North Dakota, and West Virginia will stand prohibited from July 1st. Bonta's office stated the states are a part of a recent, dangerous wave of discriminatory new bills signed into law in states across the country that directly work to ban transgender youth from playing sports, block access to life-saving care, or otherwise limit the rights of members of the LGBTQ community. Bonta also said, "Make no mistake, we are in the midst of an unprecedented wave of bigotry and discrimination in this country, and the state of California is not going to support it." The travel restrictions have been implemented by California pursuant to the Assembly Bill 1887, which requires the state to avoid supporting or financing discriminatory laws against the LGBTQ community. But to impose a ban on state-sponsored travel in order to avoid travel by state officials sets a very bad precedent. Let's face it, California is not dealing with separate countries here, it is dealing with fellow American states, and it is rather egregious to take measures that can potentially snap official links between American states over ideological issues. Ultimately, California's ban on state-sponsored travel is going to pave way for more such bans on a variety of ideological differences. What California has done is only going to weaken American federalism, which is not in a good shape anyway. Almost everything in the US has been getting polarized, with Trump's Republicans on one side of the spectrum and the Democrats on the other. At a time when different ideologies should learn to coexist in the US, the Newsom administration in California is preaching sheer intolerance. And after all, who is Newsom to impose his ideology anyway? The California model isn't working out in any case. Newsom is himself facing a recall election. The people of California are not happy with him because of the power outages that have been haunting Californians during the peak summer season. Also, big American corporates and middle-class workers have been migrating to Republican-led states like Florida and Texas because of the high cost of living and steep taxes in California. Newsom hasn't been able to stop the flight of Silicon Valley companies out of California. So, there is no reason why Newsom should have assumed that he has the moral superiority to dictate how other American states should behave or what kind of laws they should enact. There are a number of things California Governor Gavin Newsom could have done, from holding deliberations with the governments of fellow states to encouraging lobbying for LGBTQ rights. However, what the state of California has done isn't about LGBTQ rights anyway. The ban on state-sponsored travel to 17 states imposed by the Newsom administration is a means of furthering the larger divisive agenda to separate blue states and red states.